All right, hello everybody, welcome back to the stream. So we're trying something a little bit different today. We're trying out a Twitch stream at the same time as the YouTube stream. But in order not to run afoul of the Twitch terms of service, I've removed the scrolling chat from the screen. So the chat will no longer appear on screen until I highlight the chat. So hopefully that's a good compromise, we'll see. But anyway, hello V, welcome. Good to see you again. Hello Ataxic, good to see you. So, yeah, we're going to try it out. We're going to see how streaming to Twitch works as well. I've had a number of people say, I want to watch on Twitch instead of YouTube. So we're going to see how this works. But anyway, what we're doing today is we are doing some more character select work, and I'll show you all the stuff that I did. I worked on it a little bit last night. And so, yeah, we'll see how it goes. But before I get into it, I want to remind everyone that Alchemortis is available for wishlisting. The playtest is also live right now for Patreon members, so if you head on over to the Patreon, it's linked in the description below. If you subscribe to either of these tiers, you will get a Steam key sent to your email that you use for Patreon, and you'll be able to gain instant access to the playtest right now. If you subscribe at the sponsored tier, not only will you get playtest access, but that's like pre-purchasing Alchemortis, so you'll get a Steam key for the game when the game releases. I will send that to you, and your name will also be listed in the in-game Alchemortis credits as a way of thanking you for supporting the game early. But I just want to reiterate that you do not have to pay anything to gain access to the playtest. Everyone will have the opportunity to try the playtest starting on Friday of this week. So again, there's no FOMO or anything like that. Everyone's going to get to try the playtest. It's just that Patreon members get a little bit of extra early access just for being supporters financially. So that's that. And then let's accept these cookies, I suppose. And then I have my Udemy courses available for sale. So yeah, if you want to learn how to build games in the Godot engine, purchase those. That would be great, and that would support me a lot. But yeah, you could also just like the video, subscribe to the channel. I don't know what is the action on Twitch. Follow me on Twitch. Just like hit the buttons that make it so that way you are making my number go up. That would that would be a good way to support me as well. All right, anyway. Let's say hello to everybody. Hello, welcome back. Good to see you. Risky business going on here. YouTube is preferable for me as I have premium, so no ads. Yeah, I mean, I like YouTube too, but people say the problem with YouTube is that people don't get notifications for when I go live, or at least they don't get them immediately. I got a message from Emerson. Good morning from both sides of it. Good morning to you. Welcome, welcome. Welcome back. So we'll see how this goes. We'll just do this for a little bit and we'll see if people like the Twitch or not. And we'll go from there. I get notifications on YouTube. Yeah, I think some people they just don't get it like immediately, or they get it. And I've had this happen to me actually too. I'll get a notification for my own stream happening like 2 hours after the stream. It's like, what? So anyway, but let's see. We'll do a little bit of Twitch experimenting this week, and if people like it, we'll keep it, and if not, well, there's no reason to keep doing that, I guess. It was a little bit of a pain in the rear to get Twitch multi-stream working without a third-party service, but we're good. I've got a 5080 in this computer, so it should be able to handle encoding 2 different video streams at once. Should be no problem. Anyway, hello Mabs Games. Good evening to you as well. Welcome, welcome. All right, so let me show you this character select. So I've got so I did a bunch of things last night. Not only do I have a character select, I've started building like an actual scene for the character select here. And we're probably going to play with this a little bit more on stream. But so this is like the character select screen. I figured I would just take the tile set from the typical game map and put this in here. I just copy and pasted the Fog of War layer. And then here you can see this Fog of War canvas layer. What this looks like is just, I have all of these sprite 2Ds here. So let me just bring this out. So that's what all of my Fog of War reveal sprites look like. But those are nestled within the Fog of War sub viewport, and then there's the Fog of War canvas layer. So I just kind of like borrowed the styling of the map as it exists, but I think the idea here is I'm going to add more decorations and stuff. I'm going to make this like a little camp, a little outpost here. And then we've got like the start node here. And so when you select a character, I want the character to walk up to this start node, and then that will display a UI about like their starting stats or whatever. So you'll be able to see what health they start with, you'll be able to see what cards they start with, so on and so forth. And that might involve bringing up like the actual inventory drawer here. I don't really know how I'm going to present that information. But the idea is we'll have all the characters standing around the camp here, and then when you click one, they will mosey on up to this start, and then we'll show a UI about their stats. And then when you click like start or something, they will just run off into this Fog of War, and that will transition into the actual map. So let's see. It's not going to work if I run that scene by itself, but if I go to skip the tutorial, this will bring me right into the character select. I select the priestess, and then imagine that transitioning into the map, and now we're here, right? So the goal is to make it like super smooth, like it's like as soon as you go to the character select, you are in, you are sort of in the map, so to speak, right? And that was just a way mostly of me reusing the assets that I have, but also the characters are drawn so that they look good like on this map view. And so there's not really an opportunity to do something else with them without like drawing higher resolution ones. So I wouldn't be able to put them on this screen without drawing higher resolution characters, which is a very scary proposition. But I'm thinking that instead of transitioning like a fade out like that, I'm thinking that we could just do like a side swipe over. So I don't know if we're going to do all this today, but so imagine I click the start button, and instead of it fading out and then showing that, this actually will just slide to the left, and the camera will pan over to the right as if the characters are just there, like they're just already in the environment. And then I can have like a little back button or something, or like some kind of clickable item somewhere here where I could go back to the menu from the character select, and that would just swipe back over to the left. So we'll see. I mean, yeah, it's going to be... there's a lot of ways to make this presentation a lot nicer, but I think this is the way I'm going to go with it, and we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Hello, ItJoy. Welcome back. Good to see you. Jackie Daytona, it's time for Game Dev once again. Hello, hello. Snupbill, thank you for the IDR 10,000. Very much appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. Always appreciated with the message yummers. Welcome back, everybody. Always good to see you. Always good to see you. All right. Let's... I don't know what to do next. It feels kind of weird to put a bunch of effort into the character screen presentation with only 2 characters. But... Oh, the other thing I can mention too is that I actually have this configuration working now. So remember yesterday we set up these character resources, these custom resources, where I can define the starting health, the starting blood, starting artifacts, and the starting cards. And so I've done that for both the Necromancer and the Priestess. So now the Necromancer starts with the Skeleton Warriors as usual, but it has the minion crit chance artifact now. He's going to start with 50 health and 10 blood, just like what has been the case for the game so far. The Priestess starts with 35 health, so lower health, same amount of blood. She starts with the Ceremonial Dagger and the Frog and the Poison Heal artifact. So when I go into the game, we can see that all of those things take place. So if I go here and I select the priestess and I go in my inventory, look at that. I've got the frog. You can see my health is 35 down here. And I've also got the venom artifact here, which is the one that heals based on your poison damage dealt. So not only does she start with 35 base health, but she's also going to take 25% health damage when the combat starts. And so, yeah. Anyway, so that whole system is working end to end. So now adding new characters with new configurations is going to be super easy. The main work with adding any new characters from this point onward is just going to be doing the art and the animations for them. Because again, the characters, you know, they have their starting configuration, which is now really easy to set up. And so really it's just the visual representation of the character that is going to take the most effort from this point forward. And then because of the way I've built this character select scene, I slightly changed how we approached it. So I have these markers. These are character marker nodes. And these are basically the positions where I want the characters to be, so I can actually control where they are in this little camp. And then when this scene loads, each character resource that's associated with one of these markers will just be turned into that clickable node, basically. So yeah. Oh, it didn't work. Oh yeah, I can't go into the run if I run this scene by itself because it's missing some dependencies, but that's all right. Anyway, so we've got a good foundation up here. Visual Studio eating 16 gig of RAM, lovely. That's like $5,000 worth of RAM. You could make a cameo of your past game somewhere, just an idea. Oh yeah, like an Easter egg or something. Yeah, I could definitely do that for sure. Anyway, so I'm trying to think of what would be nice. I mean, we can work on the visual presentation of this screen. We're kind of like in another phase of development where I'm just going to be adding a bunch of stuff haphazardly, and then I'm going to have to go through multiple like refining passes. So the character system is obviously in place, but it needs to be refined. And then there's going to be, you know, the meta progression system, which is just going to have to be a rough system. Add that in place. I still have to decide how I want to do the meta progression. You know, there's always an option to do like a skill tree type thing for the meta progression. Same thing that I did in Gunforged, basically. Well, let me ask you this. So for those of you in the chat who like to play roguelite games with permanent progression, what kind of system do you like? I think the most common system, which I may end up just copying because there's a reason why it's the most common system, is you earn some kind of currency every time you do a run, or you earn multiple types of currency every time you do a run, and then that currency can be used to spend on unlocks. I don't like that necessarily because one of the reasons I don't really like that system as a player is because it basically makes it so that I don't know, it just feels kind of like, how do I want to say this? Artificial is not the right word. Like, you know, basically, like, for example, you'll get like 10 to 20 of that currency every run, and then you need to unlock something that's 100 of that currency. So it's like, you know that you need to do like 5 runs to get that unlock, and so it's just a matter of like grinding through the runs to get what you need. And like, yeah, I mean, that's fine, I suppose, but there's got to be an opportunity to do something more interesting there. What I did in Gunforged is I thought it was interesting, and a lot of people thought it was interesting too, which is that in Gunforged, the currency that you use to spend during the run is the same currency that you use to spend on the meta progression. So there's this tension while you're doing the run of whether you want to use your money for an immediate gain during this run, or whether you want to pocket the money and take it out of the run with you so you can spend the money on permanent upgrades. I thought that was kind of interesting. I don't necessarily want to do that in Alchemortis because I don't want to put too much pressure on the player to not spend their in-game or their in-run currency items, for example. I thought maybe, well, alchemical residue could be the permanent progression system, but then actually that might work, because then there would be a tension of, do you want to unlock your board space, or do you want to just like make do with what you have and get out with your alchemical residue? But I also don't necessarily want players to just be doing alchemy for the purpose of grinding up that residue, so maybe that's not a good idea. But anyway, upgrades for character after a run, I think. My favorite approach to Risk of Rain, Vampire Survivors, where you unlock stuff by goals. Yeah, goal-based unlocks are fun too. I prefer a system like Risk of Rain, no currency, but rather you unlock logs that unlock characters and items when the achievement goal is unlocked. Yeah. So maybe that's the way to do it. Maybe that's the way to do it. Yeah, so instead of like grinding out like, oh, you got to play 10 runs to get the amount of currency, that could just be reduced to like, as soon as you win 3 runs, you unlock this thing, right? Or as soon as you interact with an obelisk, 10 times, you unlock this thing. Yeah, maybe goal-based unlocks are the way to go in this game. So anyway, we're not going to be working on that today, but I think it's useful to start thinking about that, because I'm probably going to start working on that very soon, like within the next week or two, and just setting up a system for that. So it helps to think about that a little bit, at least. But anyway, let's work on the presentation here a little bit, because I'm kind of curious how this will work. Again, I'm not showing any UI indicator of like what makes these characters different from each other. So that's a big problem to solve. And then we got the transition from the menu to here and then back. So yeah, I guess let's just figure it out, I suppose. Alrighty, so we got the sprite 2D here for the let's just call this start, I suppose. Let's see what we can do here. We might actually be able to do something interesting. Private node 2D start. Actually, we'll just make this a sprite 2D. Okay, so on character selected, let's do this for now. Instead of immediately changing into the run, we're also going to want to add, let's see, a clickable coordinator here. Clickable coordinator. Okay, so let's grab a reference to that. Node private clickable coordinator. The cool thing about goals is that it offers incentive for trying different stuff and engage with the game more. Currency can be earned by spamming runs. Right, yeah. And I personally don't like that as a player. So I think goal-based unlocks is a good idea. I think that makes sense. I think that's how... I played a lot of Halls of Torment. I can't remember. I think maybe Halls of Torment had both goals and currency. I can't remember though. So I don't know why I mentioned it. Oops. Anyway, on character selected. So what we're going to want to do in here is for every selectable character that we instantiate, we need to add this to the clickable coordinator. So clickable coordinator.add clickable control, selectable character. So we're going to register that selectable character with that clickable coordinator. And then what do we do? So when we click a character, we are going to do clickable coordinator dot disable mouse input. Hello TK421 all day, welcome back, good morning to you as well. Halls of Torment had quests and gold. Yeah, okay, so I did remember correctly. But goal-based for unlocks. Gotcha. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, there was like stat upgrades you could do, and then unlocks were goal-based. Yeah, I remember now. Okay. So we're going to disable the mouse input for all the clickable controls when we select a character. And then what we need to do is we need to... what? I may need to change how my characters work. Oh, son of a biscuit. I may need to redo again how my characters move around. Move player to node. So I'm currently using a signal to emit this travel started. Yeah. Okay, so fudge. So the player movement is working based off of signals, which is assuming that there's an ancestor of a map container. But now I have a situation in the character select where there is no map container, so we may need to take an interface-based approach to moving these characters. So let's just do I character. Let's see. I character. Let me close all this stuff. Character priestess. Do I need this play idle here? I don't think I do. Okay, so I character, let's do namespace game.data.character. Is that right? No, game.character. Public interface I character. Void play run. We're not going to take... Do we want to take a run map node in here? I don't think so. Let's see. Why is this run map node? So this is just used as the position. So let's do vector 2 to global position. Float travel time. And then we'll do void. Do I need the play idle here? Let's look at the character necromancer. Play idle. This play idle is called on travel ended. Do I need to do that? I might not need to explicitly call the idle animation. I might be able to just play the idle after I do the run. So I'll basically just direct the player to run to a location and then transition immediately into the idle animation from there. So let's get rid of these signals. We don't need this anymore. We're going to make this public. This is going to be a vector 2 to global position. To global position. There we go. Oh, this is not going to work either. Well, we'll figure it out. We will figure it out. Whatever. We'll do it. I believe in myself. So we're just going to make this play run. We're going to make this implement I character. What are you talking about? I didn't... Float travel time, travel time. Does not implement interface. Play run to global position. Why does it not implement the interface? Are you serious? Oh, I used the wrong vector 2 type. Okay. That has that, yeah, whatever. It's okay. There we go. All right, we should be good now. So we've transferred that character over. Then we go to the character priestess, public void play run, vector 2 to global position. We will delete that to global position. We're going to get rid of these signals here, get rid of this, make this implement I character, and we can get rid of these things. Okay, so now the character is agnostic about the map container. but that means that I need to get rid of these signals here. So let's get rid of these. Okay. Player root dot position. So let's just do this. Var character is equal to player root dot get first node of type I character. And then we can do character dot play run map node dot position time. And then we don't need this travel ended. Okay. So we're going to obviously have to test that before we do any more work on the character select screen. So why don't we try that? See what's going on. Hello, Bubblegum Lord. Welcome back. What about achievements? Yes, achievements will be a thing. I'm sure an easy way to do achievements is just to tie them to the unlock goals as well. I don't think so if you're using the blend. Yeah, I don't think I need to play that either, but we'll see. Had a fun run yesterday. Got 4x candle artifact. My staff of Vela was 12. Oh my gosh. 6 times stack damage. Just casual 750 damage. We'll post a video later on Discord because this time I didn't get to record. Awesome. I love how you guys are absolutely breaking the game. I think, yeah, Ninja Link went in and he took the Hellspawn egg and tried to make that scale off of an item that scaled based on turn cooldown. I just like how you guys are breaking the game, and I want to maintain that, but obviously I'm going to need to fix situations where it's just obviously broken. Like, I've been considering putting a cap on the tier of cards as well, because a 12 tier card, I mean, I guess I could allow that. The problem, though, is that there's not enough space for the indicators, so they just run off the card. Unless I limited it. I don't know. Maybe I already handled that case. But anyway, we'll see. I want to keep things strong, but I also don't want them to be too strong. Hello, Ben. Welcome back. Good to see you. Alrighty. Well, it looks like, let me just check on, so again, I'm streaming to Twitch right now too, so let me just check on that real quick. I want to make sure that everything's looking good. Yeah, I think everything's looking all right. Very cool, very cool, very cool. Okay, so I select the priestess. Oh, I forgot to, okay. I think I can just do this, actually. Skip menu. I think skip menu should still work. So I'm passing through a configuration object to the run manager. Yeah. So I'm passing through a default configuration object, which just means that if I skip the menu, the Necromancer is going to be my default character. You can see the Necromancer has this minion critical chances increased by 15%. Let's just make sure the run still works, and it does not. Very cool. Oh, why is that not working? Player root get first node of type. Root. 2 character scene. Why is that not working? Player root get first node of type I character. Let's put a breakpoint here and see what's going on. High tiers indicators get out of bounds on smaller cards. Yeah. So maybe instead of just limiting the tiers, maybe I can just come up with a new UI for that. He's a Twitch streamer now. How long till a hot tub game dev? Is that a reference I'm not getting? Oh no. I'm getting old. No, my character is not null. But it's also not playing the animation. Did I do something wrong? Oh, oops. I put this in the wrong spot. I am a good developer, everybody. Hello, Chen Shou. Apologies if I've already been asked, but will you be able to play this on a Steam Deck when it's released? Yes, that's the plan. So the plan is we're going to add full controller support to the game once all the UI and stuff gets solidified. And then the goal is to make it, yeah, playable on Steam Deck from the beginning. I think this would be a really good game to play on Steam Deck. So I definitely want to support that at launch, for sure. I may also actually be getting a Steam Deck for myself so that I can actually test that and make sure it's all good to go. But we'll see. We'll see if it's in the budget. Not only game development, but also character development, right? Yeah. Hello, the Dollite. Welcome back. Hot tub streams are a thing on Twitch, and it's certainly for a group of people. Oh, I see. I see. Well, unfortunately, or fortunately, you will not be seeing me in a hot tub probably for your entire life. So I think at least limiting artifacts will work. Basically, all my ritual cards were at least 10 level plus on 3rd region, which often doesn't make sense to invest in alchemy. Yeah, so there's been a discussion several times about, do we want to do unique artifacts? And if we do unique artifacts, you know, how does that work with the seeded run capability? My default position so far has been artifacts can just be allowed to stack, because that is one of the things that I like about Risk of Rain, is that you could just stack the same relic or whatever it's called like 5 times and become super OP. So I definitely like that. But there are certain artifacts that when they get selected together, they just scale super hard. And then there are other artifacts in the game that don't have any additional effect when you stack them. And so one thing I'm thinking about doing is that I could have an artifact that scales based off of the number of artifacts that you have. So that could make getting redundant artifacts, even when they don't like have any additional capabilities when you get more, that could make getting redundant artifacts actually powerful, right? But I do like the fact that, generally speaking, artifacts can stack. For instance, I could get, you know, whatever. I don't know what 100 divided by 15 is. It's like 7 or something, right? So I could get 7 Skull Wands and have a 100% crit chance on all my minions. That's definitely a possibility. The thing that we have to consider too is that as more artifacts are added to the game, it's going to become a lot harder to get the same artifact multiple times in the same run. So those kind of situations where you can get like the 3 ritual tier artifacts, that's going to be much less likely to happen, but still possible, right? Thanks for answering, and that's the game wish listed. Awesome. Thank you, Chan. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. And welcome to the stream, by the way. Good to see you. I just came back. What did I miss? Are we having hub top streams now? Maybe stack X times or scale them, like after the 3rd candle, raise 1 level instead of 2. Yeah, something like that. You just said that. That's a classic modify in roguelikes. Yeah, for sure. So I think we can do something like that, and we'll see how that goes. But anyway, so I've got these characters now implementing this eye character interface. So that means that I can control their run animations from wherever I need to, but we do need to make some changes to this character select now. And how am I going to do that? Let's see. I could move the entire clickable control, perhaps. Let me think. So let me go to my selectable character, and I'm going to do a public method in here, public eye character, and we're going to make this... Actually, we could do get private set here, and then we're going to do, when we instantiate this character scene, so we'll do var character is equal to character definition resource dot to character scene as eye character. Then we'll add the character here. No, I can't do that. Okay. So we'll add the character there, and we'll say character is equal to character as eye character. Okay. So now we've got a reference to the character here. We're going to probably move this entire thing. Character select, marker, character root children of type. Okay, so let's do a dictionary in here. Private dictionary, character. Let's do a selectable character to character marker. Selectable character to marker. And we'll make this a read only. Then in here, we will do selectable character to marker. Selectable character is equal to marker. Okay, so on character selected, what we're going to do is let's pass in the selectable character here. So selectable character. So we'll pass that into on character selected. Let's do var tween is equal to create tween. Tween position of selectable character. Actually, this is not going to work. Tween property. Selectable character. String control dot property name dot global position. Then we're going to do start dot global position, and we'll do that over 0.5 seconds just for now. I just want to see this work. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the selectable character dot play run, start to global position 0.5f. All right, let's see what that does. So when I go to the character select here, McDonald's in the hot tub, quality content. All right, well, all right, alrighty. You could add an artifact that duplicates another artifact. Yeah, that's a good idea. There's only the sleeping category on Twitch too. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, that didn't work at all. That didn't work at all. Let's do selectable character. Let's add another public vector2 position offset. This is this. Size.x, size.y. Minus selectable character dot position offset. Minus selectable character dot position offset. What in the heck? Oh. We're going to get this working. I'm just trying to move a node to another position. There we go. So let me do this actually. This should probably be moved down. So we'll just put this down here, I guess. Maybe we'll just put that smack dab in the center. I am not making any considerations as to having different screen sizes, so that's going to be a fun adventure whenever that needs to happen. That doesn't look quite right either. I think it's probably because, well, it's probably okay. Let's change, yeah, it's probably fine. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm going to need to show some stats about the player here. Probably make the other players like run away as well a little bit, like back off a little bit. Don't want them necessarily being crowded around, but maybe it's all right. Anyway, there's going to be a lot of work to get this scene looking good, but okay. Probably also want to modify or copy this tween, generally speaking. Let's copy this easing here. Yeah, that easing should be good. Character select. Okay. Do I not need this character definition resource anymore? I probably do, but anyway. I'd watch the cat sleeping. Yeah, there you go. That is an innocent only sleeping stream. Okay. So, yeah, there's a bunch of problems here. Oh, that offset. Maybe that offset isn't correct. Maybe that's what's kind of throwing me off. I can fix that later. It's just, do I just want to move the canvas group instead? So I'm moving this whole selectable character thing, but I could just move. Well, it's not super important to deal with right now. I am going to have to make some changes to the positioning to get these players to stand like in the exact center there, but let's just worry about getting the big stuff done, and then we can worry about the minor details later. So I need a way of swapping to a different character. I also need a way of displaying the stats of this character. How do I want to do this? So when I'm displaying the stats of the character, do I want to just use the in-game like drawer UI and like pop the drawer out, show the starting cards, show the starting board size? And then the health would be down here as well, and then the artifacts would be up here. That feels a little bit weird because that UI is built for like, you know, having the map in focus. So I could make an alternative UI which just kind of like shows everything as a box here maybe or something. How do I want to present this information? That's a good question. I don't really feel like making a new UI, but I think that may be necessary. I could just use like the tooltip UI for now, but let me think. How do I want to do this? I may just have to make a new UI. Now here's the thing though. So I was thinking about doing more of like a tooltip thing where I click on the character and I see this. I was gonna do kind of like the Diablo 1 or 2 thing that somebody suggested in the chat yesterday, which is like have the character step forward and then show like all their details. And then if you select a different character, they would just swap out. I think that's, we'll just start with that. I think that's probably okay. I think, I don't know, we'll see. Maybe it's probably okay, maybe not, maybe it's okay. I don't know. So let's just start stubbing out. Let's create a new scene. We're gonna do a, let's do a margin container as the root node. We'll make this big scenes UI character select. We're gonna do character information. Okay, let's change the mouse. We're just gonna change this to ignore, and then we're gonna set behavior recursive to disabled. So now let's go ahead and this is gonna have to be constants margin left, something like 320. And actually probably wanna do something like 320 plus 16 or something. Or maybe 320 plus 24 or 32. Let's try that. And then also let's just, well, let's add a panel container now. This theme type variation, panel container decorative. Let's go to layout. We're gonna change this container sizing to shrink begin and shrink center. And then what we're gonna do is we'll go ahead and add a VBox container here. We may need a margin container sitting between these things, but let's see first. So let's do label. Let's do necromancer. Yeah, we're gonna need a margin container in here. What is my typical... open the wrong thing. Card tooltip. What is my typical padding here? I think it's probably 4. Yeah, it's 4. Okay, and we'll put the VBox container under that. There we go. Let's change this label. Container sizing. No, that's not what I want. Theme. I may need to change my theme actually. This header label here. Is this being used in any place? Now, wait a minute. Okay. I guess I am going to need to change this font color here. That's all right. So there's our header label. We're probably going to want like an HBox container here. And then we'll do like a card container. Card container. Test card. I'm just going to put this in place so I can see it. What does this card container do? Add card. Base card, add a tree. Okay. Does that allow me to... Shoot. I don't think this will allow me to do the tooltips, so I may need to do something else with this. Anyway, we'll figure that out. Let's just do this for now. It's gonna be a little bit tricky here, I think. Actually, let me look at my artifact display. Why do I keep doing that? Artifact display. Root icon. Oh, this is an artifact display. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna want artifact displays. Okay, so maybe I can make use of this. So let's do another HBox container. Let's just put artifact display in there. Okay, and then for the starting health, we're gonna need to put the starting health in there as well. Are those the big things? So we've got Necromancer, Health, Starting Blood, Starting Artifact. So yeah, we just need the health now. Map node tooltip. Let's take a look at this. So the OG player character is a short king, or is the priestess really tall? Well, I mean, it's up to you guys. What do you want? Should he stay a short, stout king, or should I mean, the priestess is tall. Like, I do want to make the characters have distinct designs. So I don't want them to all be like the same height or the same width, you know? Like, I could have a really fat character, really fat short character, and then like there's the skinny tall baddie who is the priestess. And then the necromancer can just be kind of like a generic, you know, hooded guy. I'm probably going to redraw or update that necromancer art a little bit because I think he's a little bit too wide, too thick. So I may just thin him out a little bit, maybe increase his height just a tad. But I definitely want the characters to have different silhouettes, right? Like they should have different body types, which will differentiate their visuals enough. If they're all just like hooded humanoid figures that are roughly the same height, that's not going to be very good from just like a stylistic perspective. So definitely they're going to have different silhouettes, but I agree that the priestess looks a little bit too different than the current character. So I may just go back and tweak the current character a little bit to just bring him more in line with sort of the new style. So for sure, we'll take a look at that for sure. What do you think about the books Clean Code and Clean Architecture for Game Development? Which one would you recommend reading first? So when I was first working as a software engineer after college, I worked with a senior engineer who recommended that I read Clean Code. And that is where a lot of my comments or my opinions about like comments and reading code like plain English and all that stuff and writing code like plain English, that's where all that comes from. So that book is definitely, at least it was very valuable for me. So yeah, I mean, I can recommend that book just because it's, you know, it's relevant. You know, there are opinionated people online that say it's not a good book for whatever reason because they're into functional programming or whatever, and Clean Code is focused mostly on OOP. But I think that kind of misses the point. Like, Clean Code is, I think it's almost too long. Like, that book is like 400 pages because there's a bunch of exercises and stuff, and I just don't think that's necessary to get the point across. That book could be like 25 pages, and it would get all of the important details out. So obviously, when I read it, I didn't do all the coding exercises. I just looked at them and said like, oh yeah, I see what the author is saying here. But anyway, yeah, that's fine. I have not seen Clean Architecture, so I can't say anything about that. But I wish everyone here a pleasant day. Thank you, Kanik. Appreciate that. Thank you. Kimmy's Rhythms. I'm a new sub and new to Godot. Awesome, welcome. How are you enjoying Godot so far? And if you say you hate it, you will be banned. I'm kidding. Random villager, please. Oh no. Oh no. Anyway. So we got to figure out how to do... Oops, I didn't want to do that. Map node tooltip. So this health here, what is this? I'm just going to copy this HBox container. Layout, container sizing, shrink begin. Actually, I think this can just be fill. Yeah. So this kind of layout looks a little bit odd, but I think the most important thing is to get this functional. And then maybe we'll have like the flavor text label down here as well. And we'll change this VBox container theme overrides constants to 8, maybe? I am going to have to indicate what the board size is if I add that eventually, but it's all iterative, right? It's all iterative. I'm sure this UI will have to change at some point. I love it, but still learning. Yeah, there's a lot to learn for sure, but I loved it from the moment I used it, even though I was completely lost. So just take some effort, but you'll get it. And my love for Godot only grows deeper. There's only one thing I love more than Godot in life, and that would be my wife. So I finished a few runs, and one thing I felt almost every time was that I'd really like to have a bigger board and more cards doing stuff. Getting enough residue for that was difficult. Yeah, Yeah, that made me think. How about a character artifact that allows unlock board cells cheaper? 2 residue instead of 3, for example. Yeah, that would definitely be an artifact idea for sure. The other thing that I was considering too is making the initial cells cheaper, but then as your board grows, the cells go up in cost. So for instance, the initial ring of locked cells would only be 1 alchemical residue to unlock, but then if you add a new row or a new column, that price would increase to like 2 or 3. And then if you add a new column, you know, after that, that would increase to 4 or 5. So yeah, there's certainly like little levers and tweaks that I can make to that system. So yeah, we'll see. Double quarter pounder cheese, no. No. Gonna head out. Bye. All right, thanks for joining Ataxic. Very much appreciate you being here. Good to see you. So this is looking a little bit, you know, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but again, like I could imagine a situation where I actually make this a whole like designed UI similar to the drawer UI here, where I've just got a place for everything and it's very like ornamental and stuff. But we're just going to get something in place for now, and then we'll see how that works. So this is the health container, this is the artifact container, and then this is the card container. What I'm probably going to need to do is instantiate a board in here so that I can put the cards on the board. And then we are going to just hide that though, so that it's not affecting anything. And we'll take the cards here and let's do, you know what I might do is I might just make this load as placeholder so that will disappear during the game. So now we need to add a script to this. Game.ui.character select. So we've got the character information here. We're going to need to probably do public void initialize, and we're going to need the character definition resource. And then we need a reference to the board. So private board gameplay.board board. Artifact display, we're going to load this one as a placeholder too. Let's access that as unique name. Testicle. Private instance placeholder, artifact display placeholder. Okay, let's also do an export in here. Export private packed scene, card container scene. Okay, this is the flavor text label. Access that as unique name, and then this is the display name label. Access that as unique name. Node private label display name label. Node private label flavor text label. Okay, so when we do this, how do I do the shop? Okay. You can increase the cost related to how much cells you're gaining because adding a row having 3 columns is different than adding a row but having 5 columns. Right, that's true. That's definitely true. It's a good consideration. Welcome, Gaussian Fire, by the way. Good to see you. I think we're pretty much ready to set this all up now. I mean, we've got the character definition resource coming in here. So what I'm going to need to do is let's just set this up, the labels for now. So text is equal to character definition resource display name. All right, so now, the labels are the easy thing to set up. We need to set up the health. Oh, we need to set up the health label here. So let's do health label. Node private label health label. And then we'll do health label dot text is equal to character definition resource health dot toString. So really the only tricky things to set up are going to be this artifact because I need to make that work with the artifact tooltip as well. And what else? Yeah, we're going to need to set up the artifact display and then the cards, the starting cards. So did I accidentally do something? No. Okay. Do I want to move the flavor text up here? No, probably not. I should have committed these things 1 second. App container. So movement or character animations, I guess. Just commit that. And now this is just all the new stuff here. Okay. All right, so I'm going to take a quick 3-minute break, and then when I come back, we will work on getting this information all filled out, and then hopefully we can get it into a spot where that's animating on the, where is it? On the character select here. So the idea is that this panel will come in on the right next to the character. Gonna need some kind of start button as well. Yeah, I don't know. Gonna be a lot of stuff to do for sure, but anyway, I'll be right back in 3 minutes, and when we come back, we will get that all working. Hello, I'm back. Welcome back to me. Hello, Neozoid. Welcome. Good to see you. Ninja Link, good to see you as well. Hello, I'm Laxon. Finally on Twitch. Are you happy about that? I'm trying out the Twitch multi-stream, Twitch YouTube multi-stream, because there are people that prefer to watch on Twitch, and so if I can make that happen, then that would be good. But we're kind of doing a trial run. We'll do a trial run for like a week or so, see how people like it, and then mostly I was worried about it on my end, you know, streaming to two different services from the same computer, but everything seems to be working just fine, so got no problems there, I suppose. So yeah, I look like my OBS is like a whole mess of all kinds of panels and stuff. It's kind of funny. Anyway, let's get this working. So let's get the cards displaying on here as well. Actually, let me take a step back. Let's just get this instantiating when I select a character and then deleting itself. Well, I don't really have deselect character yet, but that's all right. That's okay. Let's instantiate a child's... No, let's do this. Let's do another export. Private packed scene. Character information. Scene. Character information scene. And then when we select a character, we are gonna... Let's break this up into a couple methods. Void move character into position. And we'll need this selectable character. So selectable character. We'll grab this and just put that in there. Then let's do private void show character information. Okay. So we're going to do var character information is equal to character information dot instantiate is character information. Add child character information dot initialize with character definition resource. That's going to need to come in as an argument here. Character definition resource. Okay, move character to positions, show character information. All right. Let's see what mistakes I made. Emerson's bouncing around. BVH building be like recursively split the children in half. Oof. Okay, I'm happy to report that that didn't work. And that's because I didn't set up this. So character information scene, I probably also need, yeah, the card container here. So we'll just get those set up before I forget. Priestess. Okay, I guess that's fine. I suppose that's fine. We can probably actually take this margin container and subtract like 16 from that, I guess. Okay, so it seems to be working. I mean, it's putting her health in there properly. So we got 35 health. This might actually probably need to be on a canvas layer because it's being affected by the light, but it's probably okay. It's probably fine. Okay, so we need to get the artifact and the cards working. Let's get the cards working first. I think I know how to do this, but I've said that many times before disaster. Public, override, void, ready. Actually, let's just do that all in here. Board dot, or this dot get board manager. Oh shoot, I'm not gonna have a board manager. Do I just add the board manager here? Wait, no, I don't. Maybe I don't need to do that actually. I do need a card. I do need the card mouse events manager though, I believe. I think that's what I need, but I may not need. I can just do board dot set unbounded mode. Board inventory component dot set unbounded mode, and then we are going to do true starting dimensions. It doesn't matter. I don't really care about those properties or those arguments there. So For each var card ID in character definition resource.starting card IDs, we are going to want to do var card is equal to card factory dot create card from ID, card ID. This is true. Card dot board inventory component dot add try place card at next available position. Card will do, it doesn't matter either. We'll just do this. Okay. Then what we need to do is we need to do var card container is instantiate that card scene container. Actually, do I need to do that? Yes. I usually put my export variables first. Let me do that. Okay. So we need to get a reference to card. Let's do card. Oh, this is going to be a little bit confusing. Cards container and then card container. Okay, well, it's fine. I'm smart enough to differentiate plurals, I think. Node private. I don't feel like typing this, so we'll just do control cards container. Cards container dot add child card container. Card container dot add card. Add to tree this. That should work. And then we need to set card.card node.global position or dot position is equal to vector 2.0. And then what we're going to do after we do the cards, we'll do board. I'm probably going to be able to drag the card. Let's just see what happens. I don't know. I may have broken this, but let's see. Okay. Maybe I do need the board manager, actually. Let me see. Does this require the board manager to work? That's not ideal if so, but I'm actually surprised that I can make use of these managers in scenes outside of the main, like, run scene. Board registered, board unregistered. Okay. So let's do board manager. Here. And then we'll do this dot get board manager dot register board. New board manager dot board registration. Is let's see. Is quick move target equals false. Quick move priority equals 0. This dot get board manager dot add drag locks or card mouse events manager add drag locks for board. I'm in 2 places at once. You are beefing my numbers. Hello, Courier Games. Look at this new green screen effect. Look at like a pro streamer now. Yeah, we're in the era now where you actually don't need a green screen to cut yourself out. Thank you, AI. Did we finally find a good use for AI? The NVIDIA, streaming tools or whatever has all kinds of like AI-powered filters, and this is one of them. So I didn't get a green screen. I just installed that filter, and it's smart enough to just mask me out from my background, and my hand only disappears sometimes. So that's pretty cool. Didn't work. Object reference not set to an instance of object. Character information 45. Get board manager register board. Oh. No, that should be fine. Let's just do a debug. Oh, right clip model, yeah. Clip model is easily the place I see AI the most. Yeah, I mean, to the extent that AI can be used to increase production value real time, that's good. I mean, I always like, let's see. Register board. Why is this failing? There are a bunch of AI tools that I like to use. So I use DaVinci Resolve, and that has two really useful AI tools. One is the voice isolation AI tool, which makes it so that it basically cuts out all of the background noise from your voice recording. So even though like I have a very quiet office, there's still a bunch of like room noise and stuff, and sometimes the cat makes noise in the background. But I throw that AI filter on my voice and it removes all of that. And so, you know, previously, if you wanted like super high quality audio with no background noise or whatever, you'd have to set up like sound damping and stuff like that. But the DaVinci Resolve AI tool just makes it sound as if you're like in a recording studio. So that's really useful. And then DaVinci Resolve also has an AI subtitle generator. So it just generates the subtitles with the correct times just by doing the natural language processing, I guess it would be called. And the only thing it gets wrong is like it doesn't know how to spell my name correctly. So whenever I say Firebelly, it doesn't put the EY at the end, which is understandable. And also it doesn't know how to spell Alka Mortis. So I have to go and replace those instances by hand. But everywhere else, like it recognizes when I say Godot and when I'm talking about different node types and stuff. So that's super useful too. So those kinds of AI tools are really, really, really awesome because they just increase the production value quite substantially. So yeah. Is DaVinci Resolve free? It is, but I think you cannot use the AI tools and a lot of the rendering capabilities if you don't pay for the professional license. But the thing I like about DaVinci Resolve is that it's a one-time purchase of the license. It's kind of pricey. It's like $400 or something, but you buy the license and you have the license for life, and then you get all these extra features unlocked. But yeah, it's free to use. You can definitely do like basic YouTube videos in it, no problem. That's actually what I did for a while. I think I used the free version for like 6 months or so just for my YouTube videos, and then once I found out like, yeah, this is a tool I want to stick with, then I bought the license for it. Anyway, register board. What is going wrong here? Initialize character information. I don't really know where this is going wrong. Parameter data.tree is null. Oh, that makes sense. So this is not in the tree yet. So that's kind of annoying. I can't call initialize first. I need to add it to the tree first. That makes sense. Tedious task AI is good. Generative AI is awful. Yeah. I think that's the consensus that everyone is sort of arrived on. So why is my mouse tooltips not working? Let's see if this is even getting in here with the board registered. It is. So what is going wrong here? Why is this? Why is that not working? Oh, I know why it's not working. Do I know why it's not working? Yeah, I think it's inheriting this disabled recursive all the way down through the card. Although maybe not, because there's a break here. But here's what I'll do. Just to test that, just to rule that out, I will go to my mouse here, behavior recursive enabled. Oops, wrong scene. Unfortunately, I've got to go. Good luck on development. See you next time. Thanks for joining, Bubblegum Lord. Always good to have you here. And hope you have a good day. Unfortunately, not everyone arrives at that conclusion, especially not those in leadership positions. Yeah, I mean, I think... it's not working. Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, it'll shake out one way or another. I would not be surprised if generative AI just becomes the norm eventually, but for now, people don't like it. Hey, Ninja Link, thank you for the Prime subscription. Very much appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. Wow, I'm going to have to stick with Twitch now, I guess. I appreciate that, Ninja Link, thank you. Alright, what in the world? Why is this not working? Why are my mouse events not triggering? I guess the next thing to do would be to just, let's see, on card mouse enter gd.print base card.card definition resource.display name. Especially microslop. I've been waiting for this day. Excellent. Thank you again. What the heck? It's working. Why is it not showing the tooltip? Oh. Wait a minute. Oh, I have a separate card tooltip scene. Well, that would explain that, I suppose. Let's get rid of this. Character select, instantiate card tooltip. There we go. Okay, so that's working. Okay, awesome. I think that's probably fine. Let's change this separation to 2. Actually, yeah, 2 is probably good. Artifact container, this can stay at whatever I set it at. I guess it's 4. Okay, so the cards are working now. I should just make sure real quick that I can't drag them at all. Okay, so let's do the artifacts now. I'm going to commit this. Character information. Shouldn't call it microslop, it hurts the CEO feelings. First time chiming in, been watching for a few weeks, always learning little bits when you problem solve things above my head, so thanks for sharing your time. Yeah, for sure, and thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who is here. All the lurkers, especially. Well, maybe not especially, maybe that's unfair. Thank you to everyone equally. I appreciate it. All of the support helps, so like just watching the videos helps. Being in the chat, of course, helps. Liking the videos, subscribing to the channel, following on Twitch, all that helps for sure. And I very much appreciate it. Thank you. I have the unfortunate job of interacting with Microsoft occasionally. I hate them so much. I think I hate Google more, though. Yeah. I don't know what happened with these big... Oh, I guess I do know what happened with these big companies, but it's just like they get so ossified and so inert that they don't want to make any risky changes, and so what they do is they just twiddle around the edges and they just end up making things worse. And it's like, you know, I don't know. I think that's just an inherent problem. You know, like once you get to a certain size, you become less and less risk tolerant. And then, but then your product decays over time, right? Because you don't want to take risks. You don't want to potentially do anything that's going to alienate your users, right? So, but then ironically, you end up making these small tweaks because that's all you can do. And then the small tweaks end up alienating your users until you've got a pile of all these junk small tweaks that have not improved the quality of the product at all. And no major changes have been made either. So it's like, it's kind of a catch-22, but that's not, it's not my job. So good luck, CEOs. Okay, so this works. We need to do the artifact container now. So the artifact display, how does this actually work? So I can set the artifact resource. Do I have an artifact tooltip? How does that work? Artifact container. Thank you, I'm Laxon, for the subscription at tier 1. Wow, thank you. I very much appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. My face when we're on the same level as lurkers, yeah. There was one time I was at work function and the Microsoft rep got so drunk and made a huge fool of himself. Oof. They just don't care, I think. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Yeah, I think they do care. It's just their caring is different than our caring. What they care about is different than what we care about. Artifact tooltip. All right, so I'm gonna need to put this in here somewhere. Let's see, character information, probably just slap the artifact tooltip here, I think. Oh, that's not gonna work. Oh, I can probably undo this as well. Okay, so we're gonna need that artifact tooltip. So we're setting up the cards here. So now we need to take this for each var artifact ID in character definition resource dot starting artifact IDs. We are going to need the artifact resource. So var artifact resource is equal to artifact registry.from ID artifact ID. And then we're going to say artifact display placeholder instantiate. Oh no, create instance as artifact display. Artifact display.set artifact resource. And then we're going to do artifact tooltip.register artifact display artifact resource. Okay, is that all I need to do? Let's see. Oh, I need to enable. Let's get rid of the artifact container. This character information, I need this artifact display here to be mouse enabled. Hey, thank you, Bo. I hope that's how you say your name. Thank you, Bo. I appreciate the subscription at tier 1. Wow. Thank you, guys. I very much appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. We're at 93% on the hype train, whatever that means. Oh, it went away. But thank you, everyone. I appreciate the support. Thank you, thank you. Hype train. Started recently learning Godot. GDScript was pretty easy to start with. I've used C# as well before with Unity. Is it better than GDScript when working with Godot? Well, so the GDScript versus C# question, like being better, is a matter of personal preference, right? Because you can do everything in C# that you can do with GDScript when it comes to interacting with the Godot engine. The things that you'll be missing in GDScript are, I mean, they've started to work on abstract classes, but you won't have like interfaces. You don't have nice tools like link or extension methods or whatever. You don't have nearly the sophisticated typing system as you do in C#. So whether you say C# is better than GDScript with Godot is mostly just a matter of personal preference. Some people like GDScript better because it's less verbose. You can get things written faster. But some people like me, like I like the additional structure and tooling that comes with C#. It's just easier for me to architect the game systems when I have something like C# to work with versus GDScript. So at the end of the day, I think it's mostly just whatever you think you're going to be most productive with is what's going to be the better choice for you. If you're more productive with C#, then use that. And if you're more productive with GDScript, then use that. There are some limitations with C#, the major one being that you can't do web exports currently when you use C# with Godot. But I'm sure that will be fixed at some point in the future. But that is the only major like consideration that you need to make from like a technical standpoint. But everything else is, everything else is just like a personal preference. Thanks for the knowledge. Yeah, you're welcome. You are welcome. Glad to help any way I can. Then my grandpa said, oh, that's a bit of a tough choice. All right. Asymmetrics coming in with the non sequitur punchlines again. Welcome back. Always good to see you, Asymmetrics. Always good to see you. You are welcome. Shish Iris. Oh my gosh, that's a tongue twister. Shish Iris Live. You are welcome. Okay. So yeah. There's a little bit of lag here, which is unfortunate. I'm gonna have to resolve that. There's like some hitching when I go to select the priestess. I don't know where that hitching is exactly coming from. I have a feeling these cards are very heavy, so I may need to completely re-architect how the cards work. But let me just try this real quick. If I get rid of the cards, is this gonna be snappier? Yeah, that's much snappier. I think, yeah, my cards are just super heavy because every time a card needs to be instantiated, it needs to set up all of these nodes and a viewport and everything. So I might be getting to the point where I need to figure out a much more efficient way of doing this. I think at some point I'm probably going to experiment with just hooking into the rendering server directly for these cards. And we'll see if that like helps at all. The problem is I need to have all these shader effects here, which is, yeah, it's a little bit, I just don't know how I'm going to do it, but yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. It's kind of unfortunate though, like I get this hitching. Anyway, this character information, I think I need to change this a little bit. This should be... That should probably be a canvas layer. So let's change this a little bit. We'll detach the script. We're going to add a canvas layer, not a canvas group. Going to add a canvas layer. We're going to make this the scene root. And then this is character information. This is the margin container. Let's change this layout. No, layer. No, layers here. 10. We'll reattach the script. And then here, this is a canvas layer now. So that should fix the rendering order issues. Oops. Value cannot be null. Character information 49. Oh, right. Have you made anything in Pico or Pico? I still don't know how to say it. Pico 8? I have not, no. No, I probably won't. I don't really have any interest in using that. I mean, it's cool. I've seen a lot of game jam entries in particular that use that, which is it's a fun little engine for sure. But no, I don't personally have any interest in using it. Oh, I got to reset up all my export variables, which is just one. Oh, I act like such a big burden. Just one export variable. Okay. Yeah, I don't like that hitching. Shoot. Add it to the list of things to do, I guess. Anyway. But all the tooltips are working, so I can see what the artifact is. I can see the cards. I can inspect the cards from here. So all that just works. And then we're going to want to put the flavor text down there. So I'm just going to do this for now. Flavor text for Priestess. And then let's do the Necromancer. It's getting there though. I think, again, I'll probably redesign this UI at some point, but that's going to need to have some auto wrapping as well. Also, I'm actually just going to put this margin container back. Let's do 8. A wise man once said, with C# you get more chicks. All right. I think that was asymmetrics. Hello, Chris. Welcome, welcome. Good morning to you. Why does the skeleton appear in the top left? Oh, did I not notice that? Oh, right. It's because I have this test card still here. There we go. No more top left skeleton. I am a wise man, yeah. You are. Alrighty, so I mean, it's looking good. We need the ability to like exit out of this though and choose a different character. Yeah, this UI is gonna have to be all redone at some point, but mostly interested in just getting the flow down and then figuring out what to do from there. So what should I do to actually get out of this? Like if I want to select a different character. Wonder if I should push that off. Let's see. Let's do shrink end instead, and then we'll do 888. Because one thing to do is I could just select the character and then I have all the other characters selectable. Like, just make sure that this tooltip doesn't obscure anything. That would be one way to do it. And that might actually be the way. Let's do margin right. Let's do a larger margin right here. Obviously, I don't have more than 2 characters right now, so it's kind of like not really relevant, but yeah, if I make all the other characters selectable and just have this character go back to where they were after I select a different one, I think that would be the way to do it. So let's work on that next. Get character information populated in the UI. He is wise. Oh, you're streaming on Twitch now. I was wondering why I wasn't seeing some messages in the history. Yeah, I'm streaming on Twitch. I don't have the scrolling message anymore because Twitch terms of service says you can't merge the chats. But putting on my legalese hat, even though I'm not a lawyer, I think showing one message at a time does not constitute merging the chats. So come at me, Twitch. Definitely pro streamer now, yeah. There's a bug on the artifact tooltip. It's being drawn behind the fog of war from the map. Yeah, I think did I not just fix that? Let me just double check. I think I just fixed that. Yeah. So that was the point of... So the point of moving all this character information to a canvas layer is that now that's no longer going to be affected by this fog of war layer. Let's see. What is the fog of war layer here? Yeah. So this is now rendering on layer 10. This character information here. And so that will guarantee that it renders on top of the fog of war always. I know I'm jumping the gun here because you just started working on the Poison Princess, but any ideas what the fire character is going to be? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you know, I mean, I could do the classic, like he's got a backpack full of like explosives or whatever, and he's just like his hair is on fire or something. But yeah, I don't really have any other character designs in mind at the moment. I've like got archetypes of characters that I want to do. Like I want to do a ritual-based character and a fire-based character and maybe like a weapon-based character or something like that. I want to do a deprived character, which basically starts with no artifacts and like low health. So it's a little bit harder, kind of like the Dark Souls deprived class. Not that my game is anything like Dark Souls, but it's always fun to have like that bare bones like character that has like no advantages at all. But yeah, I'm definitely open to character like archetype suggestions and character design suggestions, so send them my way if you have them. I would say just being able to click on oh my gosh. I would say just being able to click on another character is the way to go. Yeah, I think so. Hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper. The burned one as a character, applying fire also applies bleed. Yeah, there. Yeah, see, something like that is pretty cool. Definitely going to have a bleed character. I think what I'll probably do is I'll just work backwards from my artifacts, because if every character is going to start with at least one artifact, I can just look at my artifacts and say, oh, well, I'll just make a character start with cards that are relevant to this artifact, you know? Hello, Elshran. Frankenstein's monster-style character. Yeah, that could work. That could work for sure. Character that starts with a random artifact and random cards. That would be a good one. Now, the thing about like random starting scenarios is, I mean, I guess it's fine. I just don't want players to like, if they get a random loadout and they don't like it, they just immediately abandon the run and then like just keep doing it until they get something they want. That's kind of like, yeah, I just don't think that would be fun, you know what I mean? Like, because I could definitely see players just going in and like restarting a run 10 times with the random selection until they get something good and then they do the run from there. I just don't want to do anything that incentivizes like abandoning the run immediately or early so that you can get like a better rolls or whatever. I want to encourage the player to start with what they're starting and then just try to win from that starting point. I just want a character I can force into using a Phoenix. Yeah, for sure, we could do that. The Phoenix and the Imp, please, yeah. The main problem with random cards is a lot of cards won't fit on the starter board. That's also true. That's also true. Definitely true. What was I doing? I forgot. Oh, we gotta make the cards, yeah, the characters selectable after I've already selected a character. So that's gonna be all in here. Let me think. So I'm disabling the mouse input here. I don't want to do that anymore. I do want to disable. So let's do private, selectable character, selected character. Then we will say, swap character selection. To selectable character. If is instance valid selected character, then we're going to want to move this player, move back into position. To do move back into position, to do free character information. To do reassign selected character. That would be outside of this block. Okay. So I think that's the way to go. We are also going to want to do re-enable mouse input on character after travel finished. To do disable mouse input on new character. So this is the general strategy that I'm going to have to use here. and that should be fine. I think it should be all right. So just kind of stubbing out what I want to do in there. Is there anything else that I need to do? So I've got the relationship of the markers. So the characters are placed using these markers here. So I've already got the relationship of marker to selectable character. So I can send the old selected character back to the marker position with no problems. So I think that's the way to go, yeah. Hello, Grandra. Also check to make sure you're not selecting the same character. Right, so that's what this mouse input. So all the characters are wrapped in this selectable character clickable control. And this is my class that allows me to control like mouse input locks and stuff. So I can disable this selection area while a character is selected and then re-enable it after the character gets deselected. So that's going to all be part of this swap character selection. And then eventually, you know, when the characters are locked, because they're, you know, you have to unlock the characters as you play the game, as is typical in roguelites, I'll need to add logic in here for determining, well, what I'll probably do is I'll probably just won't put the characters in the scene until they're unlocked, or maybe I can show like a little placeholder. Because what I want to do eventually with this is I want to make this look like a little camp. So what I may do is I may add a little like campsite for each different character with just some like thematic decorations and whatnot. And then that character will just not be there before you've unlocked them. And then as you unlock characters, like this whole screen will just be filled with all the playable characters. So yeah, I think that's the way I'll go. But again, that's all future state stuff. It's gonna, like I said, it's gonna have to go through many iterations to get this working really well. But it should be fine. What I'm most worried about is just like the card instantiation is being a little bit... It's being a little bit hitchy. So I may need to figure that out sooner rather than later. But let's just get the flow working first, and then, yeah, I may need to figure... I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to improve the quality of that. I need to identify, first and foremost, what is so heavy about the cards being instantiated. I think it probably is the fact that there's just a huge node tree, but also there's a bunch of different shader materials on that card. Well, there's one thing I can try. I mean, this is kind of like a little bit of a detour, but if I just make this invisible, does that make a noticeable difference? Probably not, because those shader materials are still going to need to be loaded. Yeah, that didn't make any difference whatsoever. Okay, anyway, that's something I'm going to have to investigate. Maybe I'll actually spend time doing that today, because that's going to be just a big problem as we go on. Anyway, not to get off on a tangent. All right, so tell you what, we're gonna keep going with the stream for maybe another hour or so. So, because I do want to get this like flow all working, and I do want to try to implement a transition from the main menu to this scene. So we're going to see what we can do about all that, but I am going to take another quick 3-minute break, and then when I come back, we'll continue on with getting this to work. So thank you for your patience, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Alrighty. Emerson, the dancing. I kind of like the animated emote things on Twitch. That's pretty cool. Gosh, I sound like a boomer. This Twitch thing. Oh, this Twitch thing is pretty cool. Look at the little dancing dragon. Artifact idea. Favorite customer. Shop events have reduced prices. Occasionally sets a low price item as free. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Were you the one, Jackie Daytona, that posted in the Discord all of these, like, several artifact ideas? I think you were, right? Yeah, I haven't copied that stuff over to my feedback document yet, but anyway. So, swap character selection. If is instance valid, so we're going to move the selected character back to position. So, move character into position. Let's do move character to selected position here, and then private void move character to original position. Selectable character. We will take this tween here. Actually, we could probably just grab this. Target position is equal to selectable character to marker, selectable character dot global position. Yeah, that works. And we can do tween dot tween action, selectable character dot remove input lock. And then when we move this character, instead of doing this clickable coordinator, we're going to do selectable character dot add input lock. Like so. Okay, so that works. Oh, we don't need this, I guess. All right. So we're going to move character to original position, selected character, free character information. So I'm going to need to store that as well. Character information. Okay. If is instance valid character information, we'll just do this up here as well. Okay, that's done. Re-enable mouse input, I already did that. So reassign selected character, so then we're going to do selected character is equal to selectable character. Disable mouse input on new character, that's also done because that's called here. And I probably actually don't need this clickable coordinator anymore, so I'm going to remove that. And then we'll go ahead and delete this. Cool. We don't need that anymore. All right, let's see what happens. I've been exploring editor plugin recently. Has been way more useful and intuitive than I anticipated. Awesome, yeah. Editor plugins can be very nice. I think I used one. I used an editor, or no, maybe I'm thinking of an export plugin. There's a way to do like export plugins too, I think. Or I know that there's a way to do that. I don't know if it's called an export plugin, but you can like hook into the build process of Godot when it's like packing up your packed scene and everything. And you can modify the behavior there. And so what I did is I was able to, I think what I did in Gunforge, that I was able to copy over the Steam like DLLs or libraries, the dynamic libraries, over into the final output of the, of the packing process. And that was super, super nice. But that's a different thing than an editor plugin, so I probably shouldn't have mentioned that. Yeah, you did, okay. It's time for Game Dev once again. Hello, Add More Coffee, welcome. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for the gifting, those sub gifts, wow. Wow, thank you, appreciate that. That's very generous, thank you, thank you. Wow. Look at me, I'm a real Twitch streamer, everybody. Thank you, Add More Coffee, that's very much appreciated. Thank you, thank you. Dang. All right. Anyway, let's see if this works. So I select the priestess, and then I can select the necromancer. Look at this. Isn't that cool? Oh, I know why it's hitching. So what's happening, so here's a little detail about how C# static works. So it's only hitching. So whenever you have a static field in C#, it doesn't actually get assigned until the first time that it is read. So I have, for example, this all IDs here, this static string all IDs. Maybe that's not it. Wait a minute. Register cards. Right. So a static constructor doesn't actually run until it needs to run. So as soon as I'm trying to get like all of the card IDs, or as soon as I'm trying to read like this from ID, the very first time that I do that in the code base, that's when the cards get registered. And that is reading the file system and iterating over all of the card resources, and then it's setting up the dictionary relationships and the arrays and stuff in here. So what's happening is, because I'm never reading any of the card data prior to this point, this is the very first time that I need that card data from the registry, and so it's loading all of the card resources right there. So that makes sense. So that's where, because when I swap to the necromancer, it's like instantaneous, like those instantiations of those card scenes. So I think what I need to do is I'll probably have to have like a loading step when I first start the game that can at least initialize all that data for me. And I think that would be the way to do it. So yeah, okay. Well, that's good. But it's instantaneous after that gets loaded the first time, so that's great. Hey, that looks pretty good. I'm surprised that worked as well as it did. I think I want to stagger these a little bit though, make it look a little bit more natural. Again, this is just a tiny thing to do, but we can definitely do that. So instead of this tween going immediately here, instead of these tweens going immediate, well, the move probably needs to be immediate, but this one, we can set a delay on this one actually. So let's do a dot, let's clean this up a little bit actually. Set ease, set transition, dot set delay, and we'll do a mathUtil.rng.randf range. We can do 0 to 0.2. That should hopefully make it just feel a little bit more organic, not like these characters are little robots. And I may actually just increase this delay a little bit. Welcome to Twitch, V. Good to see you. Wow, we got everyone on Twitch. Look at this. Ninja Link, welcome back. 4-star Yelp review. Are you guys? I guess you guys are enjoying the Twitch stream as well. So we'll just continue multi-streaming. I guess it seems to be working fine. Seems to be working just fine. Oh, it shouldn't be playing there. Oh, there's a problem here. This is playing run immediately. So I actually need to do, I need to do this. Let's see. var delay is equal to mathUtil.rng.randf range 0 to 0.3. And then we need to do tween.tween action. Do we want to do, actually, tween.set parallel, tween.tween action, selectable character, dot character, dot play run, target position 0.5. Let's just do private const float travel time. Travel time, travel time. And then we're going to do tween.chain here. This delay needs to be here. Okay, let's give that a shot. I know it's silly, but it would be cool if the characters would say something when being selected. That is an interesting idea. Yeah, that would be cool. I don't have any like voice lines or anything in the game. Don't really have any plans to do that, but I mean, one maybe a compromise position would be to have like a unique sound effect when they get selected. I might, let me do this. I might change the travel time a little bit. Make this a little bit up. And let's turn this delay. Well, maybe that delay is fine now. These are very minor things, but I'm probably going to want the rendering order is a little bit off on these guys if they happen to overlap. That's unfortunate. Y sorting doesn't work with control nodes, does it? Or maybe it does. Can I do this in here? Let's see. Ordering Y sort. Oh yeah, maybe this says any canvas item node, so it should work with control nodes. Let's try it. We'll just put Y sort on. Oh yeah, that works. Cool. All right. Very simple fix. Although the problem now is that the control nodes, their Y positions. Well, actually, I think I can fix that too. So the Y position is always going to be in the top left here, but I think I can enable Y sorting on this level as well. Where is this canvas group being placed? Yeah, so I can actually probably do another Y sort here. So the way that Y sorting works is that it will follow the chain. So if there's an unbroken chain of Y sorting, it will just keep, I don't know how to describe it. It almost bypasses the Y sorting for anything that has a consistent chain of Y sorting. So you can have a bunch of descendants that all have Y sort on. And as soon as it gets to the first child that doesn't have Y sort enabled, that's the thing that will be Y sorted. So you can kind of make the Y sort like pass through multiple nodes that way, if that makes sense. So now instead of using the selectable controls position for the Y sorting, it should end up using the canvas groups position for the Y sorting. Okay. We'll just knock this down to 0.2. Maybe something like Tower Falls voice lines. I'm not familiar with that. I might have to look that up. Pyromancer could say, it's hot. Is it hot in here? Or is it just me? Short text above them. Oh, short text. The Dark Lord calls for my services, the Inquisition. Oh, I see. So just like so not technically a voice line, just kind of like a flavor text piece of dialogue they can have. Yeah, that would be cool. I think I didn't set up the travel. Oh yeah, travel time needs to be here as well. And actually, I can probably put this delay up then. The announcement system could be used for that? Yeah, definitely. Well, this is working better than I thought it would. So one thing that I want to do also, while I'm thinking of it, is I've got this eye character here, void reset scale. We've got a character priestess, public void reset scale, scale equals vector 2.1. And then we'll do the same thing for the character necromancer. Okay, so we got a character select here, move character to selected position, tween property, no, tween action. Selectable character.play reset scale. So that is going to prevent the priestess, for example, from remaining facing to the left. I think I want the default position to be to the right. So she's going to run to the left when I select her, and then she'll flip to the right. Yeah. I think I drew them with the intent of that. Like, I drew them by default facing to the right. So I think that's just a good default for them to have. All right, that's not looking too bad. Now, obviously, I have no way of starting the run from here. And again, I don't really want to use a bunch of like traditional UI elements in this game. Like, I don't want to just have a button that says begin run. I want there to be some kind of like interactive like button here that's like that's actually on the map or something that I can click. But we've got the character select basically in place. This screen is going to need a lot of work. Definitely missing a lot of art. I'm not in love with this UI, so that's going to have to change as well. But like I said many times before, this is going to, you know, it's all an iterative process. So you just get it working first, and then you can gradually refine and tweak anything that needs to be refined or tweaked. So we'll get it into a good spot, but I think the main thing is now it needs to be functional. And, you know, this may not change for several playtests, but it will change eventually because I don't like this. I think I would actually prefer, I probably should just do a drawer, another drawer design that slides out here and shows you what the character's stats are and everything. But yeah, we'll have to see. Because there is one consideration here which I have not made yet, which is that if a character starts with a different board size, I need to somehow indicate that in the UI. And yeah, I obviously didn't think about that at all, but I'm here to kick ass and eat quarter pounders, and I'm all out of quarter pounders. Could offset them from the node there and use the node as the start button. That's a good idea. Yeah, that could work. Although it would be a little bit weird because if I put the character here, they would be overlapping, and it'd be kind of weird to just like stage them down here, I suppose. The alternative, what I could do is I could, instead of having the characters move to this position, I know we just did all this work, but I could have the characters stay where they are and just like pan the camera over to them so that it's centered on them, and then click, like enable the start button and click, and then they just run forward from there. But I kind of like them having, like being staged here and then having some kind of action I can take to start from there. I love how the priestess turned out. Anyway, maybe something with the pointing skeleton. Maybe, yeah, that could work. The one thing that hurts me too, where do I fit the UI for this? Yeah. Some gates at the top as if you're first going into the area. That could work, yeah. Speaking of quarter pounders, here's a card idea. Rotten burger, poison to yourself. Oh, rotten burger. Gosh, the burger meme is not going to die, is it? Looking cool. Thank you, Neozoid. So there's no way to start the run now from this screen. I'm going to have to think on that, though. I don't want to just necessarily rush something. So, I mean, I can put a placeholder in place for now. So get character swapping working. Let me think. So I'll probably just do I will probably just do, let me think. Let's add a control node, I suppose. Do I want to do this? Control node. That's probably fine. Just add a custom button. This needs to be, so mouse here, enabled. Okay. So we got private button, start button. Start button dot pressed plus equals on start button pressed. Private void on start button pressed. Let's make sure to set start button dot visible is equal to false at the beginning. And then on start button pressed, this is where we're going to do this dot get main dot change to run. And we're going to need new main dot run config. And then we just need to pass in the character definition resource. Probably we'll just store this here, I guess. Public character definition resource, get private set. Character definition resource is equal to character definition resource. Okay. And then in the character select, we can do selected character dot character definition resource. All right, let's see what that does. Oh, I need to on character selected, show character selection, or swap character selection, show character information. I guess we'll just put this in here. Start button dot visible equals true. All right, let's see what happens. Def need a burger chant, S of X for the rotten burger, yeah. Change the character select to be in a cave or something, then the start button would be the cave entrance or a crypt. That is a good idea. Yeah, I like that. Does it have to be a button? You have those gate nodes that trigger boss fights. No, it doesn't have to be a button. The button is just a placeholder for now until I figure out what the... I guess the fancy term would be the diegetic UI, right? So instead of just having like a button... But let's see if this works. So I go to begin. And now I'm in the run with my priestess. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, that button is not going to... This begin button is not going to stay. That's just a stopgap so that I can actually get into the run after selecting a character. But that's definitely going to be replaced with something else. And there we go. We're in the run with each different character now. Is that not working? Hold on. Did I break my animations? No, I didn't. Maybe you clear some of the fog when the character is on that node and then clicking the next one reveals it. Oh, yeah, that could work. Yeah. Yeah, that could work. I'll have to do some thinking about it. I don't really have any great ideas. I mean, all of these ideas that you're brainstorming are good, for sure. Yeah, the idea of like revealing a node over here in the fog that you click to start. That could work. It's going to be really important to get this right, though, because this, if the UI isn't super clear as to what you're supposed to do, then people are just going to get stuck at the character select and be like, what do I do now? Anyway, so the important thing is that that flow is now working. Add begin button to stuff. Add begin button to character select. Okay, now let's do something interesting. Let's see if I can do a transition from the main menu to the character select. So what I kind of wanted to do is just instantiate this character select here. And then... oh, I can't move it. Oh, it's locked. Character select. So if I just have them like side by side and I just pan over to it, I think that'd be kind of cool, but that may also not work because of these canvas layers here. Maybe that won't work. The other thing is I'm going to need a way to go back to the main menu from the character select screen as well. I just think it would be cool to go from the menu and like pan over and then here's your characters, you know? Then the pointing skeleton points to it. Oh yeah, the pointing skeleton. Yeah, we could definitely like use that to prompt the player. The start node could be seen as a teleport pad. You can add a sacrifice altar with a knife that the character uses to trigger the teleport pad into the run. That's a good idea. I like that one. I like that one. I was thinking about not enough residue to unlock cells problem. I mentioned last stream. How about a map node like Abandoned Alchemist Hut or Laboratory? Yes, yeah, so there's definitely a lot of events that are missing. So I want to do like mini bosses. I want to do an event where you can just outright copy a card and everything that it has. I want to do an event where you can get alchemical residue, an event where you can just get a bunch of blood. I think there's lots of opportunities to just add more events to the game. So yes, that is something I definitely want to do. I think I have, let's see how many event types I have right now. So there are 13 event types, not including the start. And I want to get this up to like 20 plus different events. So yeah, there's definitely going to be room for that kind of stuff. Player gets residue, reagents, or something else. Yeah. Yeah, something like that is definitely going to be very, very useful. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh my goodness. I'm just looking at some of my stats right now. For the rendering, for the streaming, I mean. Interesting. Anyway. I don't know if this transition is going to work because I have a bunch of weird canvas layer stuff going on here. I mean, we could try it. Yeah, the problem is this is... this canvas layer here. Do I have to move the light rect and the... Fog of War sprite, maybe? Yeah, maybe. How do I do this? I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna need to like animate all of these over as well. Well, nothing to do except start, I suppose. Let's start with the screen container here. Load character select scene. Tween property. Screen container. String control.property name .position. Let's do new vector 2 negative screen container dot size dot x 0. Let's see what that does. Color, I need the screen rect. Okay. Screen rect, axis is unique name. Okay. So that part is working. Now we need to do the same for main menu. Export, private, packed, scene. Character select scene. Character select scene dot instantiate scene character select. Add child character select. And then we're probably going to need like a play in here. Public override void play in. Not override. Public void play in. Okay. So what do I need to actually animate? I need to animate the fog of war sprite, the light rect, and this whole thing as well. This is probably not going to be very robust, but we'll figure it out. We're just experimenting. Vector 2 size.x 0. We have the light. Do I not have the light rect here? Node private control light rect. And then fog of war sprite. Node private sprite 2D fog of war sprite. Okay. Let's do fog of war sprite dot position is equal to new vector 2 size dot x 0 light rect dot position. Okay. Tween dot set parallel. Tween property. I'm obviously going to have to standardize this a little bit, but this will work for now. Okay. Light rect. And then sprite. Fog of war sprite. Okay, let's see what happens. I'm sorry if I'm asking a question that was previously answered multiple times, but what is the approximate release date for the game? Well, optimistically within the first half of this year, but I think there's a possibility that it goes a little bit longer than that. I mean, we're kind of in a home stretch now in terms of like putting it into the game the final systems, like multiple playable characters and meta progression and stuff like that. But there's a bunch of other things too, like, you know, I got to add controller support and I got to add a bunch of new content, new event types, so on and so forth. So I think we're kind of like, we're getting to the point where like all of the major systems are either done or they are being built right now. And then once those are all in place and finalized, then it's just a matter of filling out the game with a bunch of content, but also doing all the technical stuff that is required to make the game release ready, like controller support, making sure it works on Steam Deck, adding achievements, adding a save system, all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. I did not assign the character select scene. Let's see, main menu. Okay, let's try it again. Let's see if this works. It did not work. It did not work at all because of these canvas layers. Let's decrease the speed a little bit here. I just want to see what exactly is going wrong. Hello, Matthias. Here on Twitch, awesome. When you do theme, do you use any website for reference and things like that? I'm theming my buttons. I'm kind of struggling with the colors. So yeah, you could find palettes on low spec. Low spec is a great place to find palettes. But yeah, UI is really hard for me too. Like that's not working at all. It's really hard for me too. I kind of struggle with UI. I have to go through a lot of iterations usually. To get it to work, but why is this not working? Oh, I'm never calling play in, that's why. Ha! Very cool, very cool. That would be why. I will check it out, thanks. Yeah, you're welcome. You are welcome. But yeah, as far as designing buttons and stuff, that's something that's always been hard for me to do. Oh, look at that. So it's a little bit weird. But I think that's fixable. Okay. Do we like that or no? I mean, I'll speed it up a little bit. How are we feeling about that? Any opinions? Any opinions? Oh, the game UI database website? Yeah. They have images and videos and UIs for a whole bunch of games. Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. I don't know. Do I like the sliding or not? I think maybe if I change the easing a little bit. We're just experimenting. I like it. Just looks a bit jittery. Yeah, that is because of the shader, the way the shader works. So I have to update a shader uniform every frame to tell it what the like global top left position is. And then I'm obviously probably going to have to fix the lamp. Let's do 1.5 seconds maybe. So those things are fixable. It's just, yeah, I'm just going to have to dig into the shader. Maybe also fade in. You're welcome. Or no, that's for Ninja Link. I'm stealing your thunder, Ninja Link. Fade in. So fade in is a problem with this because I'm already using the darkest color here, and so a fade in would just look like it just instantly appears. So that's the problem with using the fade in and fade out, is that if I'm using a lot of dark elements, it will just like pop into existence and it doesn't go through many color steps because it's just this color, and the next darkest color is the black, right? So I don't necessarily want to use a fade in for this screen because it'll just pop in. But I do have like a screen transition shader that I could play as well. And I may want to orchestrate this a little better because it's a little bit weird. This character select is being added as a child of the main menu, which may not be ideal. I mean, I could just have it load at startup with the main menu instead of being instantiated. So yeah, there's a lot of things to tweak here, but I think I kind of like that. I don't think I have any problems with that. I wonder if I would change this to in, out instead of just out. What would that look like? Oops. Yeah, that looks good to me, I think. Hello, Clickertail. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you again. Could preload async load the artifact tree to prevent that stutter when you click the character? Yeah, so I think I'm going to have to do that. So I'll probably, when the game first starts up, I'll probably just have a script that just goes and like, you know, preloads everything, and that should help quite a bit. I think I like that. There's no way to get back to the main menu from that scene, though. So I'll probably want to address that as well. Welcome, by the way, Jandy Rackham. Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. Okay, I think this is serviceable, right? Compared to where we started when this stream started this morning, it's definitely moving in the right direction. Again, there's going to need to be a lot of iteration, but I think it's going to be all right. I think it's going to be okay. It's just going to need to be a constant thing that I work on as the weeks go on, but I'm happy with the way it's going. And so, yeah, I think there's not much more to say than that. All right, well, that's going to be it for the stream today. Well, maybe not today. I may stream later as well, so keep an eye on the Discord. You can join the Discord. The link is in the description below for that. You can also wishlist this game, Alchemortis. It's a dark fantasy roguelite auto-battler, so if that sounds interesting to you, definitely check out the Steam page. And the playtest for Alchemortis, a build that you can play, is live right now, but it's only for Patreon members currently. So you can go to the Patreon. If you subscribe at the Patreon, you will get instant access to the playtest, as well as some additional perks, like if you subscribe at the sponsor tier for at least 1 month during the development of the game, I'm going to send you an Alchemortis Steam key when the game launches, so you won't need to buy it on Steam if you subscribe to this tier for at least 1 month, and I'll put your name in the in-game Alchemortis credits. So that's how you can get access to the playtest right now, subscribing as a Patreon member. You do not have to be a Patreon member to try the playtest, though. The playtest will be going live for anyone who wants to try it on Friday of this week. So on Friday, you'll be able to join the playtest from the Steam page directly. So no one is getting like any special access to the playtests because they support financially. They just get early access for a week, and that's just a nice little perk for being a Patreon subscriber. But again, anyone can try the playtest starting on Friday, so keep an eye on that. I'll be making announcements in the Discord and all that good stuff when the playtest does go live for everyone. So anyway, check out the links in the description below. Those are all the ways you can support me and the game. definitely appreciate it, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. And I'm glad that the Twitch thing worked out. We'll keep doing that for another week or so, and we'll see if we want to keep it. But it seems like people like Twitch, so we'll keep it. Could you have the character select screen located next to the main menu, and then you simply pan the camera? I think that would remove the jittery effect and the lamp partial trail. There is, yeah, I could maybe use a camera. There is no camera. Well, maybe not, because I'm using canvas layers all over the place, and canvas layers don't follow a camera, so I don't think that's an option without restructuring a lot of things. But it's a good idea. Thank you, Ninja Link. It's an amazing stream for the 2 minutes I was here, yeah. Loving every single second. Thank you, Clickertail. All right, thank you again, everybody, and I hope you have a great day. Keep it on the Discord for the next notification when I go live. And yeah, I'll talk to you in the next one. Okay, bye-bye.